Hi there guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. So, you might be thinking, this is just going to be the exact same as last time. It's the same bombing run as before. Well, no, for some reason, well not for some reason, I guess it's because Tifa's here. Cloud has a flashback to something that, like at this point, we know nothing about Sephiroth other than he's some great hero. But now we get this flashback of Tifa in a cowboy outfit. Which I actually think really works well for her. And we get this weird flashback, and it's interesting the way flashbacks work in this game. Final Fantasy VII's story, for those of you who don't know, is actually one of the more complicated Final Fantasy stories to really get. I think that's where the whole joke of Final Fantasy having complicated stories, and thank you, Tifa, for being in my way and letting me vibrate all over you. I think it's where the trend sort of comes from, So, it's the same deal as before, for now at least. We set the bomb and we gotta run. I was waiting for the timer to come up there, because I'm like, okay, why isn't the timer coming up? And I'm like, wait a sec, did I not press the button to go do it? Like, I was a bit confused, because in the last one, you press it and then the button starts, the thing starts immediately. So, but thankfully, that's not the case, and I am keeping battles in at least the first bit for now. Eventually, I will start cutting them, so you don't have to worry about them being too much, because later on it gets really bad with the battles. But let's get more acquainted with the battle system and stuff. So yeah, these washing machine dudes are just, every time I look at them, it's just so weird. Final Fantasy VII has a very strange enemy design. I don't know who did them. It's interesting though, because the previous monster designer from previous Final Fantasy games, well, at least one of them, because it's a mix between, like, the big bad monsters were always done by the main Final Fantasy artist, Amano, who is really cool. His artwork is great. They released, like, even Final Fantasy 15, which is coming out soon, got Amano artwork, and that's the one that you've seen. The iconic sort of sketchy look that doesn't look like Final Fantasy. It's on the covers of the old games and stuff, at least, in Japan mostly. But, some of them, we got them here for some of them. He does, like, the big bad monster design. So I'm talking, like, Behemoth and, like, the really big, and some bosses, too. But one of the monster designers from previous games was, this name might sound familiar, Tetsuya Nomura. And you might be like, oh, the Zipperman. Because now he's mostly known for, he does work on Kingdom Hearts. So all the Kingdom Hearts redesigns are his deal. So yes, he's the guy with the zipper and belt fetish. But he did he co-helped with the character art for Final Fantasy, starting with this game. And eventually he took over entirely for character art. But I think in this game it was a mixture between Amano and Nomura. I could be wrong about this. It's not all super well documented and stuff. And here, okay, right here we got Cloud has poisoned, and every RPG handles poison differently. Because of how the battle system works in this game, it's not whenever you attack, it's just with time you get damaged. So because of that, it does kind of suck. You do want to make sure to get that healed. I mean, right now it's not bad, but later enemies will have stronger poisons that will actually do significant damage to you over time, so you want to get rid of that. Thankfully, it does go away after battle. No Pokemon style step HP removal, because that's the worst. But actually, no, there is artwork. So I was looking there for it because I didn't exactly know. There is artwork of the Final Fantasy VII crew in their classic Amano art style. And it's really interesting to see because you don't see Cloud like that. Like, number one, Nomura is not a colorful artist. I think the artwork is just like Cloud's like wearing all black with like white hair, because that's just sort of like the style. And I think that was the inspiration for his Advent Children look, actually. But it's really interesting to see these alternate takes on characters, and I was really hoping when Cloud was announced for Smash and we were going to get his character art, like, how every newcomer had like a poster art, if you will, like a full-size one featuring all sorts of different characters. I was really hoping we'd get to see like an Amano-style Mario, but sadly it's not the case, So before, earlier in the last part, I was talking about how there's this corridor you can go down to fight infinite enemies of this 3 group here. You can, if you don't jump off the train in time, when you're running down there, you'll actually come out closer to this place. So, and I've been told it's the best place for limit grinding, because limits don't work like experience, if you will. The more you use limits, the more use they get, and the more limits you unlock. So you can unlock everyone's limits right in Midgar, you know, all the way up, like, to whatever. I think the only one you can't get are, like, there's a few that are event exclusive, and there's, I think, like, Omni Slash, which is, like, Cloud's, you know, big thing. So this mini game here, you gotta press the button all at the exact same time, and there's no countdown, you just have to get it. This time I did it in pretty good. My first time I was here, it took me so long to get that done. Like, I was like, oh my god, there's no countdown or anything. So I do have a tent here, which I'm going to use. I don't think you can use tents just like in battle or anything in this one. It's just, they're for use at save points. And this is kind of a big boss moment, so we're going to see this right away. But look at like the level of height established, you know, looking at this. This is going to look so good in the remake. I'm so excited. But we get to meet one of probably the big bad of the first major part of the game, which I kind of do like how this game really does feel like it can be broken into smaller bits, which is, I know some people are really worried about the fact that the remake is going to be episodic, but playing this, it's like, no man, it makes sense. President Shinra is the main foe for the first 5 hours, kind of. I guess it depends on how quick you run through it. And it's President Shinra here, who's he's just kind of a big dude, you know. He's exactly what you would expect from some kind of large business CEO guy. Of course, he's like a big fat, you know, friggin' what's his face, kingpin type, you know. And he doesn't care about the planet; he cares about the money, you know. It's so tropey, but I don't have a problem with that, because again, this was like this was a lot of people's first JRPG, so I'd rather it be that than some. And it's tropey at the beginning, but as I said, story gets more complicated later. And here we get the first boss, which is the Airbuster. It says it's a techno soldier, so I thought it was meant to be like a soldier turned into it, but I think it's just a robot. I'm pretty sure. Also, that helicopter is just like, there's something about it. I don't know, man. It looks so weird. Like, it's obviously they designed it for function over form. Man, it's kind of ugly. But this is kind of cool. This shows off one, not really a new feature. I'm pretty sure this was in all the way back. Well, this was in 6, I know. But I don't know if it was in previous Final Fantasies. And this is the Pincer Attack format. Well, it's a reverse, it's a side attack is what it is. Pincer Attacks is something different. So basically, when you shoot, he will, like, if you shoot his back, he will counter your back. So you don't want that, because that does hurt quite a bit. Okay, so let me pull up. I actually have here his list of operations, which is kind of cool. The cool thing is, because it's such an old game and stuff, you can actually look at and find the programs on how these guys work. So this dude is resistant to fire. Unlike most opponents, attack to his back will deal 5 times more damage, which is why I used this on his back, because did you see that damage? Like, that was a lot of damage. But then he will turn around to face it. He's resistant to fire. He will use Program 1 operation until he's out of ammo, and then enter Program 2 and use the weaker energy ball for the rest of it. He can use Body Blow as a counterattack. And otherwise, when his HP is below 20%, it can no longer turn. So we've already basically killed him. We did kind of the best we could do using the limit break on his back, really. And even though we got our limit break again, and this is kind of cool, I like this. So, like, you know, we used our limit break and that caused him to counter on us, which did a good amount of damage. But because he countered on us, we got our limit back again. So it's like, because the way it works is it's not only damage you do, but just damage from opponents. So it's an interesting setup with how the limit breaks work, and it's a good system. Of course, they showed how limits are going to work in the remake, and it's going to be kind of different. It looks more like it's actually, I have no idea. We haven't seen enough, but it looks different. And it's interesting how in this version, you can clearly see the background change to be an FMV. Like, it's interesting. They changed it from the still image before, because like the quality goes down or something. And I love that you can see that now. It's sort of like watching Power Rangers now and knowing you can like see the cuts for when it's like in New Zealand or in Japan, and it's cool. I like that. That's sort of like a meta thing that you can do. But yeah, you can, and depending on the answers you give there, it'll change your relationship values, so that's a big thing. It's interesting that like the model quality, they kept it for the FMVs. Later ones changed that up so that instead the model quality, well, no, in this one too they do that sometimes. Sometimes they keep the models being like the low poly models in the FMVs, but sometimes they change it to be like new, better models, and it's weird. It's a weird choice, I feel. Because I don't even know, like, they don't go all the way. But of course, you know, Cloud has a bit of a crazy, I mean, he hit his head. He fell that far. He should be dead. But you know, he's ex-soldier, which means he's literally like Captain America. You know, he has some crazy superhero serum in him. And this is just confusing with because I think Cloud's talking to himself while being talked to someone outside. So it's, again, for anyone who knows the story at this point will get it. But man, it's super confusing if you're not. It's not an easy thing to understand just from the start. But we have everyone's, well, not everyone's favorite, but very memorable character here. And I really do like her theme. I'm not going to say her name yet because I need to address something with that. Her theme is actually the, if you got the game on PS4, you actually get a Final Fantasy VII Remake theme. So it's not just a Final Fantasy VII theme, it's actually a theme featuring stuff from the remake, and it will actually play the Advent Children version of this song, which is really nice. It's one of the best themes, and it makes all the cursor sounds on the menu Final Fantasy sounds, which are really nice for people who are super nostalgic for those sounds like me. But yeah, it's like this place, they can't grow flowers, and yet they're growing in the cathedral. Why? Jewish symbolism, much like the rest of Final Fantasy VII's story. So yeah, we can say like, oh yeah, I remembered you. And again, yeah, so if you say you're the slum drunk, here's the funny thing. It doesn't lower your relationship value with her. It actually keeps it the same, which is the funniest thing. So yeah, more relationship value stuff. I'm not, like, I wanted to try and get Barrett's the highest because of reasons, but it's probably not going to happen, sadly. Because of a trophy, which we'll get to much later. And she's talking about this materia that she has that does nothing. But, like, does it do nothing? Or is doing nothing its power? Makes you think. And yeah, we're just gonna be this stoic, I don't have anything to talk about, even though I just fell from the sky, you know? And then she guilts him. So, okay, are we gonna get her name soon? Or I think now we get the name, right? Just a little longer. Oh, yes, my name. Now that you mention it, I don't know your name and you don't know my name. That'd be important. We don't know each other's names. Yeah, normally that's the first thing is. Okay, so Eris is the name that was the canon name for her when this game came out, but it is a myth mistranslation. Her actual name is Aerith, and therefore I'm going to be using it. So I know some of you are going to be mad because a lot of people have nostalgia for the name Eris, but the fact that even later Final Fantasy material changed it to actually be what it should be means it's a mistranslation. You know, it's not a oh, we just changed it, whatever. It's not like an Eggman thing. Actually, it's kind of an Eggman thing because her name is Aerith. It's sort of like how in in the not Final Fantasy, in the Fire Emblem. Don't let it get to you. What I don't get what she's talking about there. I think it's don't let him get to you. Like this guy, that's weird because it and he mean the same thing in a couple languages. Like in the Fire Emblem anime, which a lot of people don't know there is, Marth was translated as Mars, which kind of fits him with being about war and stuff, because, Mars is the god of war. But it's because the S and TH are kind of like, they could go either way. In Japanese, it's Erisu or something, which could be kind of either way. It's like, Marth in Japanese is like Marsu or whatever. I could be entirely wrong with this, but I know that T and S's, TH and S's are a bit of a crazy thing. So yeah, Aerith is her now canon name, and I swear for the remake, they're gonna make it so that you're gonna have to pay, or it's gonna be pre-order DLC to get her name to be Aeris. They're gonna make it, because a lot of people aren't gonna be happy. I've seen a lot of people saying, if they call her Aerith, I'm not gonna buy the game. It's like, oh, shut up. Come on. Like, guys, it's a mistranslation. If you keep on with mistranslations, people are gonna never advance. And there's a reason why Aerith is better than Eris, which we'll get into later. I don't want to spoil it. For those of you who don't know, because I want to try and keep a few spoilery things. I don't know, man. A few, because some people are like, I've never played this game and I don't know the story. Can you please not spoil me? So I won't. And okay, so this is Reno here. He's an interesting character. I mean, yeah, it's like he says, don't step on the flowers after he stepped on them himself. That's pretty funny. It's interesting. I mean, all I have to say is he's voiced by Quentin Flynn, and you're like, oh, I get it. I mean, actually, like, it's very rare to get a battle before you get up to where you're supposed to be here. It normally doesn't happen. You get these little imp dudes. I forget what they're called. They're fire elemental little rat things. I actually know them from my first Final Fantasy game that I owned myself, which was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. Also the first teen-rated game I ever owned, and that was a big deal. I remember my parents got it for me for Easter for some reason, and like I saw it and I'm like, oh, not only is it my first Final Fantasy game, it's my first teen-rated game, and I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, mind you, I was like 11 at this time or whatever, so, yeah. No, but Reno is interesting because he's one of those, like, I guess, like, rival bad guys, kind of, so, but Aerith here is, I mean, you probably took one look at her, and you're probably like, yeah, she's probably, like, some kind of spellcaster, and you're entirely right, she is just the designated spellcaster. Make sure to give her materia. She is pretty much useless without it, like, her attacks are worthless, so make sure you grab that. And this section here took me until this recording, so I've done this section like 4 or 5 times now. It took me until this recording to actually do it properly. It's tough. I'll show you. Like, I mean, you don't lose or anything. All you do is, yeah, it takes time, but you'll see. It's interesting. So, and they're just straight up using guns, and she crappily slides down it, moving, dragging that ping image. And so all these people are soldiers are coming down to attack her. So what do we do? Well, there's some barrels up there, obviously, and you can just tell her run, which is a bad idea. You can tell her to fight, which you can do if you want experience and do that. But what you do is you want to push barrels over. Here's the problem. Because of how the perspective is, it's tough to tell which ones go to which. Like, that one's usually easy, but I would not think that this one's the next one. And, of course, I had to look at a guide beforehand, because I just wanted to get through this and actually do it right. So you can see, like this guy's right here. I guess you could sort of figure it out, but, like, I would have done the lower one. But that one goes to, like, a place where you're not even, I don't think enemies ever even go. But you see it rolls down there. So, like, I had so much trouble with this section, just figuring it out before. No, then you do use this one, actually. It's just, like, it's a matter of perspective, and that's, I guess, one of the problems with pre-rendered backgrounds is the weird perspectives, especially because you have to remember, these are just basically they use the hand painted looking backgrounds and then just place planes over them and have the 3D models walk on those planes. So they're not walking on the actual planes. They're walking on, like, not the actual background. They're walking on planes that, like, are on top of the background, if you will. It's complicated. And honestly, I was surprised when they did this again in Final Fantasy X, like on the PS2. It's just a little surprising. It took until Final Fantasy XI for them to actually do full 3D models. And honestly, I'd be okay with them using, these are called hedgehog pies. No idea why. What a dumb name. I have no idea. Wait, what was I saying? I kind of want them to do it again, just for nostalgia, but at the same time I can see why they wouldn't. Because now you can get in-game models that look exactly like this, you know? So, but we finally escaped this weirdly, like, the proportions of this place are off. If you, like, look at it, like, it doesn't look... And I guess because it's meant to just be like a more representation of the place than the actual church. You know, you gotta think of it in like Pokemon logic almost, where it's like, yeah, the church there is not the exact size, but it's meant to just represent it. I feel, at least. It's gonna look so weird in the remake to actually see like this full-size church halfway through a, you know, halfway in a bunch of garbage and stuff. It's gonna look cool. But man, it's gonna just be like, it might not even look the same. I really feel like it will be very different. Which I'm fine with, because I feel you cannot do an actual full... Like, for instance, this screen here, I don't think it's gonna be in the remake. I think they're gonna do something different for this scene, and that's okay, I feel. Because it doesn't have to be a one-to-one remake. We have the originals if you want the originals, you know, and if you really want, there's even HD remakes you can get for the PC version, which replace their character models with, like, the HD character models, fix the backgrounds to look a little more HD. No, like, you can actually make it so that, like, all these character models here are actually, like, the full-size Final Fantasy VII, like, not remake exactly, I think they just mostly use the Dissidia models, but full-size, good-looking models. You can get that. Mind you, it looks a bit jarring because not every NPC has a model like that, so you'll be walking around as, like, full Smash Bros looking Cloud, and then there's, like, you know, these, like, blocky NPCs, which is fine, it's not too bad, but it definitely, you know, and of course, modding on PC is a pain. I know some people are like, oh, it's so easy. I'm like, no, it's really not. But we made it out, and now we're actually back to this, like, it's funny, this one, like, stretch here is the entirety of the explorable Midgar. And that's why I'm really looking forward to the remake, is because, honestly, like, a lot of those sections before, you can't really get back to. At least, as far as I'm aware, there might be some weird hidden passages, or maybe definitely debug menus. But no, it's like, at this point, there's not much to explore in Midgar. You know, like, can you imagine a fully explorable Midgar? Like, all the sectors, which I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna totally expand it. But here we get an interesting edit that a lot of people are mad about. So Aerith here says, this guy is sick. In the original version, she says, this guy are sick. And apparently, that made a lot of people mad that they changed it. Because of the fact that they're like, oh my god, this is my childhood. How could they fix this typo? It's weird. I don't know why people would get mad about that, but they do. Which is why a lot of people are like, and again, with the whole, if they change this for the remake, I'm not getting the game. It's like, okay, well, they're getting mad that they're changing a typo in the original? I don't know. Also, look at that little low poly doggy. What a cute dog. And right to the side of this terrible slum town is this actually fully functional and amazing farm. it really seems out of place, and it feels like, I don't know, maybe in the remake they'll add, like, some stretch of land or something, but I have a hard time getting that this is connected to the previous screen at all. I mean, there's no water by it. Where's the water? I mean, I get it. It's like it's meant to be in there, but it looks totally outside of Midgar and everything. Like, it's so strange. But here we meet Aerith's mom, Elmira. So, she's actually a really good character. She's a good mom character. I mean, those are... I don't know, I'm not going to say those are rare in RPGs, but normally they take much more of a backseat sort of thing, and I guess she does too, but she's actually pretty headstrong, which is nice. And Aerith immediately is like, is Tifa a girlfriend? So here's the interesting thing. Tifa's the girly girl, and Aerith is the one who's more the more forthright, sort of like you feel like they'd be the other way around. Even in like the Final Fantasy VII Machina Bridge, they have like Tifa's the swearing, getting mad, teasing type, where Aerith is the girly girl type. That's not it at all. Aerith is not the girly girl at all. She's the headstrong, powerful one. Well, Tifa, I mean, aside from liking to punch stuff and owning a bar, she's the girly girl. And it's strange, but I really like it. And the sad thing is, for later Final Fantasies, they kind of, like, not Final Fantasy, but later Final Fantasy VII Mythos stuff, they don't change it per se, but they sort of play it up differently. Actually, well, no, I'm thinking now. Tifa's kind of the same in Advent Children, but definitely, like, they made Aerith be all, like, in Advent Children, being all like, oh, I'm a girly girl, you know, like, she didn't have any of her personality from this, for obvious reasons, which we'll get into later, but regardless, no, it's interesting. You know, they definitely, though, like, for Dissidia and whatever, I feel like they do play up Tifa's punchy side, and Aerith's not punchy side, so I do hope they keep this game's characterizations for characters. For instance, like, yeah, Cloud we're talking about, we don't want him to be his Advent Children Cloud, because there's a reason why he's like that in Advent Children, but it's still dumb, you know? But, like, I do want Cloud to be his more fun self in it, so we'll have to see. And, like, who's this talking to us? It makes you wonder. It's very strange. Is Cloud schizophrenic? No, it's okay. It's a memory of his mom, obviously. His mom looks strange to me. It kind of looks like Cloud in drag. And even though it's totally not, like, it's meant to just be like a, you know, a blonde woman in a ponytail, for some reason, all I get looking at her is Cloud in drag. Like, even more drag than his actual drag outfit. Whoops. Never mind that mild spoiler. No, it's not really a mild spoiler. Everyone knows about that. I forgot that we didn't do that yet. Oh boy, we gotta do that. So this is a part that's kind of like, I screw this up a bunch of times. You have to sneak out. Now here's the thing. If you're playing the original version on PS1, it's actually not that bad, because of the fact that in that version, it's control pad to walk, and then you have to hold circle to run. In this one, using the control stick, like almost everyone would, because it feels so much better, is an immediate run. Which, mind you, is very convenient and a wonderful feature, but it makes it a bit tough for sections like this where you have to not run, which doesn't happen often, but does happen, which is interesting. You know, got more actiony vibe. And of course, I got a little lost here, because even though I've been in here for so much, it's still a little confusing from time to time. Just because I feel like they don't highlight exits as well as they should. I mean, as you can see, they're big glowy things of light, but they could be a bit easier to see. Also, I call super BS. Aerith, how did you get here? I want to see an actual means of getting here. And I guess you could say, like, oh, because she lives here, it's like, whatever, she knows how to do it, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. But we have to run through these slums. Now, this area here, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh my god, is the entire game going to be like this? Because you look at it, and it's confusing to look at. It's like you're looking at where you have to go, and you're like, where? It's like that board there, that one, the pipe I'm walking on, I swore that was up above. Oh, but here we have, I'm so happy I encountered this enemy, because this is an enemy I really want to see for Final Fantasy VII's remake, because it's just so weird. It's called the Hell House. So you might be like, what? It's just a house. But no, it's not just a house. It's... Just wait, it's okay, it's still just a house for now. But like, why are they beating up a house? Is it just gonna be a house on the road as an enemy? Like, and then he's using Suicide Drop, and it's not a house at all. It's what looks like it should be a boss, but it's not. It's just a robot with jets and arms, and I think it has a claw. It has a claw or a sword arm. What a weird enemy that I really, really, really hope appears in the remake, just so I can see what the hell it is. Like, it's such a weird, and it's just a regular enemy, and that's what gets me. It's not even that tough. Like, yeah, he came close to killing me. That's because I'm mostly, like, you know, I'm under-leveled. I'm just running through as fast as I can this first area, because, of course, this isn't the main file that I actually went through the game on. This is, like, my remake file when I had to re-record the footage. It's just weird. It's a weird enemy that I really look forward to seeing how they handle. These little dudes are gross, though. They're called the Hole Eaters, which, I mean, it gives you a mental image of just being eaten alive whole by the gross crossbreed between like a like and a rat with a bit of vagina dentata thrown in. What a terrible phrase. And these dudes are just, because they come in packs, they're annoying. In fact, they're probably worse than the big guys because of that. And if you see, Cloud's about to die. Now, I've never had Cloud die yet in this playthrough, I'm pretty sure. But I'm 90% certain if Cloud dies, it's not a game over. Because that's just how it works in most Final Fantasy games. I hate when RPGs do that. I do. I truly do. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that too much. But no, it's like, you can't actually attack if you have your limit. I'm pretty sure. Maybe if you press to the side you can, but you want to use them up. You can save them by using spells if there's a boss coming up right away and you want to save it, which could be a good idea, especially for like Aerith, because hers is actually a healing limit break, which is really nice. You can save them up if you want, but you definitely don't have to. It's not a necessary thing. So we can either take her home or go to Sector 7 with her. I think if you go to Sector 7, it increases her how much she likes you. She'll refuse the other way anyways. It's not like you have to worry about losing this party member or anything. So, but this place is iconic. It's actually in from the trailer at the beginning. Look at how cute these things are. I actually love them. Like, look at these little happy creatures. I'd love to have a park like that. I mean, aside from being all totally run down and stuff, but it's kind of adorable. But it really makes you sad to think about how, like, she's like, oh, it's still here. Because, like, it's just been, with how, you know, Midgar's been going, everything's just gone to crap. Like, look at this place. It's garbage. You know, and especially if you watch in the remake, you see the kids playing in it, and they're playing in it just fine, and it's like, you know, it's still a crap hole around it, but it's really something, you know? It's like, these people live in this terrible place. And so, okay, so here's the thing. He's like, what rank were you? And then there's a flash, and then he sort of remembers. Makes you, it's an interesting thing that's happening. Again, you'll be very confused if you don't know the story at this point, but I think that's what they want, you know? But Aerith's going on about her first boyfriend, which, of course, most fans of Final Fantasy, even the extended Final Fantasy VII mythos, should know, even if they didn't play this game. Pretty obvious. But I love this Chocobo caboose. It's adorable. And yes, Chocobos are in this game. And I love them. They're great. Yeah, and why was Tifa there? And why was she in a blue dress and not her iconic outfit that's, like, even more sexualized than a blue dress nowadays? Makes ya wonder. So, coming up next is, we're going to be cutting the part soon. Possibly, actually no, straight up the best part about Midgar. It's amazing, this section. It's probably one of the most, it's the most interactive. This is where you'll probably spend a lot of time because there's a lot you can do, and I'm not going to do everything, but I'm going to get the best ending for this section, so you don't have to worry about that. But there's a lot to do on Wall Street, so we'll get to see that, guys, next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. Oh boy, we got a good part next time. If you're like a little about this, at least watch next part because it's gonna be amazing. So, thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time for some more Final Fantasy Wall Market, not Wall Street. Wall Street's something different. See you all next time, guys. Ciao.